Alright, it's the Frogman on the Frogman YouTube channel. You already know, boys. Fire Force Volume 23 review. This is by Atsushi Okubo, also known as the creator of Soul Eater. This is Volume 23 inside of Omnibus number 8. Here's a little inside scoop. This is the second time that I am recording this video. I went through this volume once and I had some things to say that I want to redo. So I'm going to redo it. This is going to be a bit more thorough of a read through of this volume, a bit more energetic. And boy, does some stuff happen in this. Lock in, boys, lock in. We're gonna open up first to a blue note. Remember, blue notes are standout moment. In this moment, Moonlight Mask is being seen with this giant image of the moon behind him, this giant area around Moonlight Mask that the white clad enemies are not able to damage him in. You've got the people like Haumea here, and you've got Inca. They can't hurt him. They can't hurt Moonlight Mask because there's a small, I say small, it's kind of pretty big if you think about it, 4-meter radius around him. He's controlling all the heat in that radius, and that is just the beginning of Moonlight Mask's power. Anyway, Moonlight Mask reminds me of my favorite character, Benimaru, but there's no way that they're the same person, in my opinion. The chapter that we were looking at previously has a pink note. Pink notes are the cliffhanger of that chapter, and boy, this one's pretty cool. This is Haumea talking. As of today, we found all the pillars. We have everything we need. Begin the final preparation. The day this planet burns to cinders is almost upon us. So obviously they're going to recreate the Great Cataclysm, and they have all the pillars that they need. At least they know where they're at and where to find them and how to get them. So big plans are in the works, boys. Big plans. Here's our next note. We're going to open up to a blue note standout moment. This is the public funeral, Company 1, and their captain, Captain Burns. Captain Burns is not in this coffin, however, because his body was taken. Now, unfortunately, the perception of Company 8 going forward is going to be a lot different. Why do I say that? That's the reason this got a blue. The official announcement states his cause of death is homicide at the hands of Shinra Kusakabe. They're calling Company 8 traitors, mortal enemies to the Empire. This is the writings down of Kareem in his journal, and it's also in the headline. So Company 8's being portrayed to be the bad guy in this situation. However, Burns went out seemingly on his own accord. He used up everything against Shinra. Unfortunately, remember last volume, boy, did they get his ass. Did they get him? Anyway, we're gonna keep pushing forward to our first green in a while. Here's our first green. The greens are standout covers. These are covers of the chapters that I particularly like or stand out. This one stands out because it looks like a bunch of old dudes looking up at the camera, and it's very scratchy. It's very sketchbook-like, and I feel like Okubo was just having fun this week. He made a cool cover. Up next is a orange panel. Orange panels are standout panels, and they're things that have good artwork, or they're executed well, or for manga, they portray a scene that you can't do in other media. This one, however, is just a cool panel. It's a cool panel of determination from Hibana. Hibana and Iris lost all of their friends and some of the nuns that were raising them in this chapel-type building when they were young, and she is going to avenge them. That is her moment of determination in this moment. Iris and her are the only two left. Quite a horrific scene that happened while they were children. So it's a cool moment to see her devote her life to avenging her friends. Now we've got a blue note. Remember, blue notes are the standout panel. On my note, I just wrote cool combo. So she's inside of this old ministry type building, old denominational type building that she was raised in, and she needs to get to this secret hatch. She feels as though there's a secret hatch underneath this giant altar is that secret hatch, but she needs to get to it. So a combination move, Rose Whip, Entangle. Along with Kareem, he uses his thermoacoustic cooling to kind of shoot these giant vines and flowers and things up underneath this altar, and it actually breaks it apart and it kind of lifts it up, and they can move it out the way to get to the door that is underneath. Boy, do they find some shit down there, boy. Honorary blue moment. I'm giving this one an honorary blue. I didn't give it a moment while reading, but I do think that it's a standout section of the story that I want to talk about. Hibana comes to the realization that they were growing plants and growing the insects their entire lives, and they were being fed said insects Why does that matter? Remember, insects are being called from Attila. They're from Attila, and they are the key between turning someone into an infernal, along with what we learn later, the doppelgangers assimilating with their present form. All these things together can make an infernal. So they were growing these children like they were crops, and they were feeding them pieces of the crops and these animals, these insects. Crazy thing to think about. And at the end of said chapter, boy, do we have a crazy ending. This is a hell of a cliffhanger here. This is the reintroduction of Sister Sumeyer, and boy, she was introduced way long ago, but she was maybe not have been named, but now she's named, and somehow she is still down here. Now this kind of tripped me out, guys. I don't know if she's supposed to be a figurative, kind of like a ghostly person, or if this is really her, but they do sit here and talk to her, and they learn about doppelgangers. Hibana gets very angry at her. She wants the answers to the questions that she has, because obviously Sister Sumeyer has been working to do things that Hibana has not learned about. Here is crazy reveal, and something that I have been pushing for a long time. I've always said Iris is integral to the plot of this story, and learning that she is the 8th pillar and has yet to realize what she is. She is the doppelganger of the 1st pillar, Amaterasu. Oh my gosh, man. Crazy story revelation for Iris to be so important. Opening up to a blue, this was a badass page turn, so we're gonna flip back one. This is Sister Sumeyer. She's still talking to Hibana, and Sister Sumeyer says, "You children really are asking for God's wrath, aren't you?" Obviously, she's getting angry, and you turn the page. Bam. Everything stops. Everything goes black, and we see Attila again, and we see the woman in black. Remember the woman in black, one of my favorite character designs, one of my favorite moments from this story. We met her in China. Somehow she's already here, all the way across seas. She used up the last bit of her power to do that, to get here, but she kind of talks some reason into Sister Sumeyer, and she gives the protagonist a moment to escape and get out of this situation, get away, do what they have to do, while Sister Sumeyer, goodbye woman in black, I will fulfill my role as the 7th pillar. Man. So this woman is the 7th pillar. She tells us who the 8th pillar is. I am assuming that it is Iris. Also of note, is he a groundhog? Is he a mole? Boys, I don't remember, but he's sick. He's pretty cool. His name is Scott. And there's also a bird. I hope the bird came with him. His name is... There's a bird. There is a bird also, guys, and I hope he's here. Here we go. We push forward a chapter or so, and we're gonna find out that this cliffhanger is a pink. Pink notes are exciting and awesome, cool cliffhangers. These really make you want to keep pushing and read the next chapter when it comes out weekly. Yeah, that's why I gave this one the cliffhanger. They're gonna forge Arthur a real holy sword out of orichalcum. This orichalcum, it's a strange fantasy material that Arthur thinks will create a much stronger sword. The next few chapters or so is just Arthur being led on a wild goose chase until he comes to the conclusion on his own. He comes to a conclusion on his own, but he does get a note from Vulcan. It says, "It is darkest under the lamppost. The orichalcum is in the first shop you visited." And we turn the page to our next orange. Arthur comes to the conclusion himself, it is darkest under the lamppost. So in other words, the orichalcum is in a dark place. Boys, it's in the nether. It is in the nether, and everybody's shocked. And on this page, we also have a cool Arthur panel. In Arthur's head, he thinks he is the knight, and god dang, dude, he is the knight. He's got a crown, he's got the trumpets, the horns, the banners, the pillars, the long pokey stabby things, a spear, all kinds of things in there behind him. Arthur's very fun. Arthur's a very fun character to read. He's very funny, one of the more funny characters in this manga. And so this trip into the nether, we're going to see at the end of this volume reveal something pretty crazy, and I am excited to see where it goes. Obviously, we turn around to a blue note here. Blue notes, remember, standout moments, and I gave this one last panel's funny, so we're talking about here. Obviously, Arthur's been on this wild goose chase, and he's determined he's going to go down to the nether. He's going to find this awesome brand new material to make his new sword out of. Easy enough. But here's what's I thought was pretty funny. Down here, we get a short flashback. Obviously, a flashback is usually going to be surrounded by a black border, a black page, but this is all dimmed out, so it's a flashback a few moments ago. "Mr. Fire Soldier, my kitty's in a tree and she can't get down. Come help, come help." And Arthur, he says, "I'm engaged in the main quest right now. The side quest can wait until later. Be gone." Poor girl just wants to get her cat down, but Arthur, my boy, is locked in. Boys, he's in there. He's in there, boys. Alright, we're going to push forward. These last 2 chapters, I'm going to be honest, I didn't take a lot of notes. I was kind of out of it when I read these, but I went through them here recently, and I do think that they were good chapters until the end of this moment here. This moment, Arthur senses someone coming up, and he's talking to himself. I will join my honorable parents in smashing our foes with the knightly martial art, the Avalon stance. And here they come, they're approaching. You turn the page, and it's his parents. Arthur's parents are in the Nether. What's going on? What's happening? What's happening here? So Arthur's parents, let's be honest, they had debt and they didn't want to pay it. So they came down here to hide. They came where? The Nether. And obviously, Arthur, being stupid, he thinks that they are saving the world like they told him. Well, we come to find out that they kind of are. It seems very sudden. It seems very crazy. They couldn't bring Arthur with them because it was unsafe. But we soon find out that Arthur's mother has had other children since coming down here, which doesn't make a lot of sense. But it's Arthur's family. They're all pretty stupid. And of course, Arthur's father, he believes himself a visionary. So somehow Arthur's parents have learned all these things about the world. They learn about the bugs. They learn about doppelgangers coming and assimilating with the normal version of these people. And they have a collection down here. They have a collection, high-tech equipment from before the cataclysm. So they've got things like a phone, what looks to me like a computer box. There's a PlayStation in the background of one of these panels. There's a freaking MacBook laptop. There's all kinds of crazy stuff. It looks like a washing machine. Amazon.com, something insane. I don't get it, bro. I don't get it. There's modern technology from 250 years ago that they don't have now. So the cataclysm has caused something crazy, a technological decline. Until we get to the end of this, they find the fairing from a space rocket, as Vulcan describes it, and obviously Arthur's father tells him he's correct. The material that this fairing is made out of is very, very heat resistant. It's very high temperature resistant. So we get the last bit of this chapter, last bit of this volume, and live on camera. This has yet to be done. A trend that we continue, but it'll be very rare. Live on camera, we add a note to the volume live. Because I went through this chapter again, and I do like this cliffhanger. Arthur is wearing the fairing almost like a dunce cap, which I think is significant because he is a dunce for real. He's very stupid. I think rereading this volume actually gets me really excited for the next one. I want to see Arthur get stronger, and I want to see what Shinra is up to now. So after live on camera adding a note to the volume that we are reading, we are finished. So make sure you check it out next time. We're going to be reading Fire Force, Volume 24 by Atsushi Okubo. Please go support the official release. I love Kodansha comics. I love manga. I love Viz Media comics. Go read Fire Force. Go support the official release. And check out my YouTube channel. This is the Frogman. I'm out.